I tell y'all what's on my mind?
It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew,
Only get
your
a
friend,
couple
but
of
I can't
things
be
on
son
my
of skin for
chest.
William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already heard, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn the notifications on so you can get all the new content, all new posts when I make them. I just came here to articulate, right? And just give you the telescopic and microscopic view on the lens of hip hop from close up and far away. Man, it's getting tough. It's getting tough. I've been working a lot, man. I've been working a lot. I've been doing a lot of things. I've been on the road. I've been just, I guess, running myself thin. And sometimes running off fumes. So it was good to get back in church today, even though I kind of nodded off a little bit during the service. It was good to get back in church today. Happy Easter. Happy 420 as well. Man, it was just one of those days. Like, damn, because sometimes I get on here and get straight to the rap, but it was just one of those days where, like, I really realized, I'm doing a lot. I really realized my busyness, and not just busyness because I don't want to face, the things in my life, but more productivity. So I can provide for the people in my life and my loved ones. Salute to JJ, salute to K Mo, salute to Gloria. That's my mama. Love you. Appreciate you, Courtney. Right, wifey, Henny. You know. But I appreciate all my system, my support system. You know what I'm saying? My loved ones. Wolfman, K Hen, Granny, Grandpa. Man, I'm gonna just give him a shout out today. Cause I'm just reflecting, I'm just thinking back, and I'm just thinking forward, and I'm just thinking about us all, in a community wise. Cause hip hop is that community, hip hop is that place, and hip hop has continued to be that place for me. Whether I be able to rap, whether I be able to do some spoken word poetry, or whether I just be able to analyze the art and the gift of myself and other people. Because that's what I'm doing, and I just like to be surrounded by that because this is that safe space or just that meditative space, that therapeutic space that I go to let those juices flow. And sometimes they might come through with, my reactions or with my reviews. And I'm just thankful that I can be able to pour into hip hop because hip hop is poured into me, even when I feel like I'm, what I'm saying, getting low on energy. And I mean, it take a long time to do this. It take time to not a long time. It take time to do this. It take focus. It take consistency. And a lot of people don't got consistency. A lot of people that are gonna do this every week, and I don't even got the views. Am I really just motivated to continue this? You know what I'm saying? But I still do it anyways because I know I need this outlet. But appreciate you, Kendrick Lamar. Right? Appreciate you, Drake, too. Just because y'all been giving me something to like speak on and at times distract myself from what's going on in the real world and kind of escape. I appreciate this battle. I appreciate this beef because as I was saying, at the same time it's a distraction, but at the same time it's therapeutic to get away from the real life, right? Because that can bog you down, that can weigh you down, and sometimes you want to be light. You want to be as light as a feather. You want to be able to fly on wings like eagles. Like eagles, y'all. But I appreciate this hip hop renaissance, right? Because to me this is a hip hop renaissance. This really is a changing of the guard, just a changing of the values, and salute to Kendrick, the morals, right? No more of the superficial things. But at the same time, I feel like all of these elements can exist within hip hop, right? All of these elements can exist within hip hop, but we got to keep our core our core. And our core is building up the culture, not putting it down. Our core is, building up the community, not taking away from it, not destroying it, right? But just building it up so that it could be a structure that's strong, that's stout, that has a blueprint that's impeccable, right? The architecture, beautifully and wonderfully made. You know what I'm saying? We got to take care of what's ours. And I think to be able to take care of what's ours, we need somebody that's rooted deeply into what's ours, right? Rooted deeply into the essence. And I believe Kendrick Lamar is rooted deeply into that essence. And I feel like Drake gets a bad rap because he doesn't, necessarily promote any injustice, or he's not for the people, or he's not like us. I think he gets a bad rap, but he's a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Should he be leading it? Should he be at the forefront without knowing and understanding and appreciating the whole essence and embodiment of hip hop? That's another conversation to have, but could he be considered a part of that family tree? And I think he has to exist for the others to exist as well, for the people that have to be motivated and inspired to push the culture forward. We have to see the mainstream and the commercial guys take over and not really give it the juice and the energy and the gas that it needs to be fueled and to be running like it needs to be ran. So salute to GNX. Right, and really this is just me just showing my appreciation to GNX, the album. But we talking about the tour, right? We talking about the tour. And SZA is co-headlining the tour. Right? In hip hop, it's male dominated, so we kind of give the men a lot more credit, a lot more attention than sometimes the ladies. And I don't think SZA is hip hop necessarily, but I think SZA is a piece of the culture. I think SZA is somebody that we definitely need to pay attention to. We definitely need to, appreciate. Although, like, some of her lyrics can be toxic, but she's not married. She doesn't have any kids. She's single, so we have to understand what type of mindset she is having when writing lyrics. We got to understand what type of space she in when she delivers these songs. And if we're not single, but we've been in love. And when we talk about Luther, we talk about the video, we talk about Luther Vandross and Cheryl Lynn, when we talk about the song From the Wood, we talk about lovers, we talk about love, right? And that's one thing hip hop and R&B has always discussed. You got to have a song for the ladies. You got to have a song talking to the ladies. And I think that lady is SZA. I think we're talking to her. The one that's single, the one that maybe not need a helping hand, but needs a partner to support her, to let her frustrations out when she needs someone to talk to. I believe SZA is somebody that we should hold in high regards. Somebody we should be uplifting on that platform as well, in that 51 set track list. And it was 52, but TV Off was played 2 times, so I'm sure it was half and half of those songs. And one thing, because everybody anticipated this GNX tour, everybody anticipated what it was going to look like, what it was going to sound like, the stage setup, the hair, makeup, just the aesthetics, and how Kendrick would deliver that performance and how the stadium would look, the packed stadium, might I add, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right, home of Prince. Right. I think a lot of people was anticipating it, and then just from what we saw, just through the clips, I think it lived up to that anticipation. I wasn't in the building. I can't determine how the energy necessarily felt, but I'm looking forward to it in Dallas, Texas, April 26th. That's next Saturday. So when I get back on this microphone, I'll have something to talk about. But yeah. And one thing that stood out was one of the segues or intermission parts where they have a video and Kendrick was being interrogated by an attorney about Not Like Us and Watch the Party Die and different things about him going away and then attention seeking, like, and just shout out to Screwface John. He pointed out like the infamous Wayne footage of being interrogated and kind of compared Kendrick Lamar to trying to imitate Wayne in essence because he's doing the interrogation similar to the footage we seen of Wayne. But and that led into the Not Like Us performance. So I mean they're co-headlining, so they're pretty much doing a couple songs, switching on and off, doing a couple songs, switching on and off. So I just want to see how that's going to be orchestrated. I just want to see how that's going to be structured, and I do look forward to seeing that for sure. I think one more thing about this that I might have to say. But so we know that the saga continues, and the saga continues with UMG and Drake. Now this is what's getting played out. This is what's getting played out. I don't mind the back and forth between Kendrick and Drake, but the lawsuit stuff is getting played out. UMG responded to the amended complaint Wednesday with a statement warning Drake of the repercussions that could come if his lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety. Quote unquote. Drake questionably one of the world's most accomplished artists and with whom we've enjoyed a 16-year successful relationship, is being misled by his legal representatives into taking one absurd legal step after another, the corporation stated. In its statement, UMG referenced a discovery motion granted 2 weeks ago allowing Drake to request documents like Lamar's contract with UMG, so they're allowing him to request it. That doesn't mean they'll get the documents, but the court is going to allow him to request discovery, depending on UMG's reasoning for not wanting to share and what the courts deem admissible or we need to take it in. I think that's what's going to determine if they're going to actually be able to get these contracts. So it goes forward. That win will become a loss if this frivolous and reckless lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety, because Drake will personally be subject to discovery as well. In their Thursday response, Drake's legal team insisted UMG knows the case against it is only getting stronger. Drake welcomes discovery and has nothing to hide. It's not Drake who should worry, it's UMG's current leadership. UMG claims to stand for creativity, but in fact exploits it, and the artist community knows that. I think you can exploit creativity and you can stand for creativity, right? Especially if you have all the bucks and you're marketing and pushing this artist. So I feel like that was more contradicting of Drake's legal team to say, right? And Drake has benefited from their exploits. So UMG drains artists for its profits, then discards them. Drake joins a growing chorus of artists raising questions about UMG's leadership, added the rapper's spokesperson. UMG said, "Be careful what you ask for." Drake knows exactly what he asked for: the truth and accountability. I mean, it is what it is, right? At this point, I feel like once this saga ends, then we can really just get back to the music. I feel like it'll make it a little bit lighter. But somebody said it's rumored that Drake is asking for $200 to $250 million to settle this lawsuit. He might be requesting to be off of his contract with UMG to settle this lawsuit. Seems like these two companies or these two entities, UMG and Drake's spokesperson, they're both posturing for themselves in the public eye, right? Trying to look good, but at the same time, the way UMG talking, it's not with a nice tone. Like it's not with a cool tone. I think Drake's team is kind of deflecting, right? But the way UMG's team is talking, they're talking with confidence and sharpness within their comments. Like, you better not try this. And we're like, okay, well, my client knows exactly what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're just gonna be open up to discovery. This is frivolous. Because they're saying he's being misled by his legal representation. He's being misled by his legal representation. Because you got to think about this. Drake is paying these lawyers to do all this work right now. You got to pay to go to court. You got to pay for the lawsuit. And if you want to keep the lawsuit going, you have to tell your client that they have a case. Right? So could he be being misled? Could he be being taken advantage of by his lawyers? Right? Because of course they're gonna play on his emotions with his feelings towards UMG and towards Kendrick, like pretty much taking him down. So when we look at it from that lens, as far as his attorneys go, it seems like his attorneys could be playing him. Right? No matter what they're trying to say save face or deflect, I think UMG might have the upper hand. And as they should. They had the upper hand of a lot of artists that tried to get independence or tried to do something. But Drake has enough money to keep this lawsuit going. But at the end of the day, if you just paying lawyers and they telling you they're going to get results and they're not going to get results, then you're wasting your money because they threw away the guest that DJ Academics had, saying that he was being hired to do bots for Kendrick, and now you're going to use Joe Budden talking about he knows there were bots. He knows Kendrick used bots, when we know that podcast be just saying whatever they want to say, talking out their ass, and it's not all factual. So which one is it? Because if you got enough evidence to prove, like, what are you're using the Super Bowl, you're using the pop out concert, you're using the song Not Like Us, but you're number 2, Drake. You're number 2 on the Billboard. Like, so to me, it's kind of questionable that you continue to pursue this lawsuit, but you're claiming in this lawsuit they defamed you and cost you hundreds and millions of dollars. If you're still number 2, why wouldn't you still be valuable to UMG if you're still getting that push that you need like a major artist does? Right? UMG's doing what they supposed to do. They're still pushing you even though you're suing them. Like, we're trying to say that Kendrick is making the case for Drake, but Drake's success after this battle is making the case for Kendrick that this was not even defamatory, really. This is because you lost at the end of the day. So from the telescopic lens, when you look at it from far away, it's like, Kendrick, why you keep talking about Drake? Why y'all doing this Super Bowl stuff? Why y'all doing all this pop out stuff? Don't you know he's building a case and everything you do and say he's going to use in court? But then if we take a closer look and see that Drake is being able to release an album although he's suing his record label. Drake also is doing a song that's number 2 on the Billboard charts. He's still making steam. He's still making headway as one of the bigger artists, and the album's still doing good. So when we really look at it far away, it looks like Kendrick is making a case for Drake, but Drake's success is actually making the case against his own self, right? It's hypocrisy, it's contradictory. It just looked like a child didn't get his way, and now they want everyone else to pay because they weren't satisfied. But it is what it is, right? But one bright spot in this weekend was a legend from that blog era was the original Kush and OJ master was Wiz Khalifa, right? Kush and OJ too. Good music, great music, and I'm going to say right now I will probably put this album in front of Peterson. This is the album I gotta put in front of Peterson because this is like just that complete body of work to me. This is Wiz coming back now. He ain't just the lyrical miracle guy, but the production and the beats and the features that he chose was like right on point, right on time, and just fit perfectly within the production like a glove. And that early 80s or that early 90s, right? 80s, early 90s, late 80s R&B. That just set the tone and set the flavor. That G-Funk, you could hear some of that West Coast within the synthesizers, within some of the snares and the drums. Like you could hear that G-Funk, but it still was reminiscent. It was still had remnants of that old cushion OJ feel with Cardo, on the production. So I don't know if Cardo was the main production contributor and then all the other people kind of just helped, craft some things, but it does seem like it was crafted by one chef, but they used different ingredients, different things to make this flavor pop like it did because shit, I thought the album was over at track 17. Like when he did an outro in the middle of the album, and then you go a couple songs later, and the album is still jamming. The album is still great. The album is still good. Classic samples. Something that makes you feel nostalgic. Something that takes you back a little bit further. Then we go to the 2010s and we hear the original Kush OJ, but we gotta go back a little bit further and hear some of those R&B, some of those soulful sonics that were being sung back in the day in our early childhood that we rings a bell when we hear it. We might not know where we was at, or sometimes we know where we was at, and we go right back to that moment. It just felt so good within our spirit to hear this Kush and OJ too. Wiz Khalifa. You delivered, brother. No, 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 no. This is not the original, and I don't want to even really compare them, but I think this is a good body of work that should stand separate. Although it could be included in the saga, I think this is a good follow up to Kush and OJ, the original mixtape. And it does have a mixtape vibe to it, but the sounds and the sonics lets you know he really paid a lot of money for this music and for this album. So shout out to Wiz Khalifa. I really like the comeback. I really like you back rapping. And of course, I like the melodies. Of course, I like the weed smoke type of music. 420, salute. Wiz Khalifa, perfect day for me to give you your flowers. Your flower, you smoked that flower. Yeah, Wiz. We had Currency, we had Smoke Dizza. But damn, I wish Crit was on there. I mean, that would be my only takeaway from the album. I wish Crit was on there. But I would say this is like a 8.6. 8.6. Just because this is one man. Life is Beautiful was highly ranked. I believe Peterson and what he had to overcome to put that album out, it's high up there. But I feel like Peterson, it was great production wise. They did a lot to, you know what I'm saying, make that album come together. But this Kush and OJ 2 is just effortlessly cohesive, and it just sounds very great because he wasn't in jail. Right? So this is a little bit different, bro. This is just a different technical sound that's just above and beyond what Peterson could do for us. So I'm putting Kush and OJ number one. I got Peterson number two. I got Life is Beautiful number three. Um, then we go to Dirk, Deep Thoughts at five. I'll go Saba and OID, the collection. I'll go that at six. I'll put Wham at seven. I'll put Will Smith at eight. And there's still other albums that I gotta catch up to. Mexican OT and Sauce Walker. Um, West Side Gun dropped the album. I'm hearing about King Carson, that Rage rap. I'm hearing I need to check him out. But one thing that stood out to me this week was JID Work, the single. You know, I was very interested and pleased that he dropped the single. High energy, high vibration. And it just sounds like in that song, he's eager to get to the meat and potatoes of an album. Like he's itching for it. He's itching to really go crazy lyrically. He's really itching to show you like what he can do, like creatively. And like JID, like it just that's what Work sounded like to me. It sounded like he was impatient. Right? Like it sounded like a good song, but it sounded like an impatient song. Like he didn't really make love to this song. He just fucked it up. Right? And not in a bad way, but like in a way when girls see their friends in the club twerking and they say, "Girl, fuck it up." Like he twerked on that song. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But I'm interested in seeing what he has to deliver when it comes to a full body of work. And he'll continue to gain my interest. Shout out Pusha T for the verse with Swiss Beats. Jadakiss Danger Danger, the Godfather of Harlem soundtrack. You know, I'm waiting on that push, that new clips. That's something I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on this JID. Hopefully some Crit will drop this year. Maybe some new Rick Ross. So, you know, hopefully GNX has a deluxe or something more that we can, you know, be fed later on in this year. But I'm just hoping for the best. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk, William Jewell L. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Rap, 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 rap.